recording. Yeah, I will share screen and then we will start lecture number 7. Today we are going to start with the new chapter called as a discrete Fourier transform, which is very important chapter in your syllabus, because this second chapter, based on this second chapter, remaining 3 chapters are dependent upon this second chapter. Means your chapter number 3 and chapter number 4 it's totally depend upon chapter number 2. So that is why for section 1 major part is being it will be in it is concentrated upon the chapter number 2. That is why chapter number 2 is very important. So we will be starting with, and as I have told you, I'm going to share with you a study material. I forgot, sorry for that. Today only I am going after lecture immediately I will be sharing with you the notes of chapter. Okay, so we will be starting with chapter number 2. So this is chapter number 2, where we will be considering the syllabus for chapter number 2. This is very important chapter, so we should not forget that we should do everything very sincerely and promptly, so that we can you are going to score maximum mark when you understand this chapter. So this chapter is very important. So chapter number 2, name of chapter is discrete Fourier transform. Are you writing this? Write down the syllabus in your notebook. Unit 2, discrete Fourier transform. Name of unit is. Then here we will be looking into a frequency domain sampling and reconstruction of discrete time signals. The first point is frequency domain sampling and reconstruction of discrete time signals. Then followed by DFT as a linear transformation. Followed by DFT as a linear transformation. DFT as a linear transformation, comma, relation between DFT and Z transform. Relation between DFT and Z transform, comma, properties of DFT. Discrete Fourier transform, it is abbreviated as DFT. D stands for discrete, F stands for Fourier, and T stands for transform. So it is being always we will be calling the discrete Fourier transform as a DFT. So understand this, DFT here is nothing but discrete Fourier transform. So here we will be going through a DFT as a linear transformation. Then we will be looking into a relation between DFT and Z transform, properties of DFT, properties of discrete Fourier transform, then computation of DFT and IDFT. IDFT stands for inverse discrete Fourier transform. So computation of DFT and IDFT. IDFT is inverse discrete Fourier transform. Then multiplication of 2 DFTs. The next point that we will be going through is multiplication of 2 DFTs and circular convolution. So these are the points which we will be going through when we go one by one through this chapter. Okay, so the second chapter consists of these many points. So in order to understand all those concepts, you will have to refer the book called as a digital signal processing. So this book to be referred here, you can refer digital signal processing principles Algorithms and Application by John G. Prokis. Principles, Algorithms and Applications by John G. Prokis, 4th edition, Pearson publication. So this is the first book, which is very good book. So you can use this book for your reference purpose, where all the concepts related to discrete Fourier transform is given properly. So you can use this digital signal processing. And second book is called as a Digital Signal Processing by Ramesh Babu. So this is again very good book. In this, I have told you, I'm telling you from first lecture itself that this subject is completely mathematical or problem oriented. So here we will be looking into the signal, we will be performing operations on the signal. So the numerical which are required, the numerical aspects or numerical things, you can find it in the second book, which is called as a Digital Signal Processing by Ramesh Babu, 4th edition, scientific publication. So this is the second book where you can get the ample amount of numerical examples. Okay, so this is the second book, which is important again. Then we will be going through the next is about title of the chapter. So write down there we are going through 3 keywords called as a discrete, Fourier and transform. So we'll go through one by one, and then we will try to club all the terminologies. So here the first word called as a discrete. So what is discrete? The first word called as a discrete. Discrete means what? Which is, we can say it as, it is a value which is a discrete, or which is a present at particular instant. That is called as a this is a digital value, or we can say it as this is a single value which is present at a particular instant. That is called as a discrete value. Whereas how we can say that continuous signal when there are infinite number of values present between 2 particular instances. But here when we talk about discrete signal, it is having only one value at that particular instant. So this is called as a distinct or unconnected elements. The elements are not connected. These are the distinct components or element. That is called as a discrete. Only one at a time. That's all. So the next point of discussion is Fourier transform. So in the mathematics, Fourier transform is a mathematical transform. What it does? It is applicable. Fourier transform, you might have studied about two things, Fourier series and Fourier transform. The biggest difference between Fourier series and Fourier transform is Fourier series is applicable for periodical signal and Fourier transform is applicable to aperiodic signal, the non-periodic signal, you can say it as. So Fourier transform, here we will be considering Fourier transform. We will be considering the aperiodic signal, and we will be trying to modify, or we are trying to get a formula or trying to get a mathematical representation where discrete signal can be visualized by using discrete Fourier transform. So we will be trying to get a formula or trying to get a mathematical expression for Fourier transform when we apply on the discrete signal. So that is the motto of going through this chapter. Okay, so this is Fourier transform. What is Fourier transform? In mathematics, Fourier transform is a mathematical transform. Transform means what? Changing from one domain to another domain. That is called as a transform. When we change anything from one domain, let us say if I change the representation of signal from time domain to frequency domain, then I am performing kind of transformation. I am transforming signal from one point to another point of consideration. So that is called as a transform. So what we say that in mathematics, Fourier transform is a mathematical transformation which decomposes function into a constituent of frequencies. Such an expression of mathematical chord in terms of volume and frequency of its constituent node. Means here we will be decomposing signal into a particular things which can be from which we can extract the information. Here the typical example is taken as a musical chord. So in this, it is being when we apply Fourier transform on musical chord, it is going to represent the total entire thing as a what are the elements, what are the constituents that we are going to get it from is the volume and frequency. So these are the two things which we will be getting when we will be applying a transform, when we will be applying the Fourier transform. So the Fourier transform refers both frequency domain representation and mathematical operations that associate the frequency domain representation to the function of time. So this is in generally why we apply the Fourier transform, because we want and time domain representation we want into a frequency domain representation. And this can be performed by using the Fourier's by applying the Fourier either Fourier series or Fourier transform. When we apply the Fourier mathematical function, then it is going to convert the time domain signal into a frequency domain. This is very simple. So here the discrete Fourier transform is one of the most important tool in the digital signal processing. This allows the system to be analyzed in the frequency domain, just as a convolution allows the system to be analyzed in the time domain. This is about the discrete Fourier transform. Why we study this? Because just because of this we can analyze the discrete signal in the frequency domain, because there is no such a provision that we have that we can analyze the signal into a frequency domain, because a periodic signal which is a continuous that can be analyzed into a though this is a periodic, but the signal is continuous, and that signal we can analyze into the frequency domain. But along with that, I can say that if the signal is continuous, we can say sine wave. We can say a sine wave, periodic sine wave. When it is a continuous and periodic, this signal we can analyze by using Fourier series. When the signal is when the signal is aperiodic means the signal is present only for a particular period of time. That is called as a periodic signal, and that is we can analyze by using the Fourier transform. That we can analyze using the Fourier transform. So but there is no as such provision when the signal is discrete and aperiodic, how to analyze the signal in the frequency domain, and this can be easily can be done by using discrete Fourier transform. That is why discrete Fourier transform is very important. So the next point that we are going to see, that is importance of the chapter. Central idea of the chapter. This chapter deals with frequency sampling, as I am telling you, frequency sampling of the signal in the frequency domain. This is the new concept. You might have studied about the sampling of the signal in the time domain. Now we will be going through a new concept called as a frequency sampling of the signal in the frequency domain, that we will see. And using this sampling method, we can derive the equation for discrete Fourier transform and inverse discrete Fourier transform. This mathematical expression we could derive when we perform sampling of the signal in the frequency domain, frequency sampling of the signal in the frequency domain. So we will be arriving at the formula called as a discrete Fourier transform, that we will study. Then properties of DFT, and finally application of DFT such as the frequency analysis of the signal. So these are the things which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so now talking about importance of the chapter, why we study. I am telling you again and again, this chapter is very, very important. The concept that which we are going to study in this chapter is applicable for the discrete signals, because up till now we have gone through a signal which is a continuous, which is a analog signal, and we have performed the operations on the analog signal. But when the signal is sampled, when the signal is converted into a discrete form, at that time we need to we can perform analysis by using Z transform, but we cannot perform the analysis of the signal by using Fourier transform. So in order to perform the analysis by using Fourier transform, so we need to understand the concept of discrete Fourier transform. This concept is oriented around a discrete signal, and where we could perform the analysis of the discrete signal in the frequency domain because of discrete Fourier transform. That is why this concept is very important. Okay. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
The internet issue has happened. So, okay. So we are talking about importance of the chapter. Then we will go through a objective. So write down these objectives. Objective, chapter objective oblique outcome. At the end of this chapter, student will be able to sample signal in the frequency domain. At the end of this chapter, student will be able to sample signal in the frequency domain, sample the signal in the frequency domain, and derive the basic formula for discrete Fourier transform and inverse discrete Fourier transform. So this is the first outcome of the chapter. What student will be able to sample signal, write down sample signal in frequency domain and derive basic formula for DFT and IDFT. DFT stands for discrete Fourier transform and IDFT stands for inverse discrete Fourier transform. So at the end of this chapter, student will be able to sample the signal in frequency domain and derive basic formula for DFT and IDFT. The second outcome is use DFT as a linear transformation. Student can use the DFT as a linear transformation. Then student can understand relation between DFT and Z transform. Student can understand the relation between DFT and Z transform. And last objective or oblique outcome of this chapter is student can be able to understand the properties of DFT. So these are the objectives or outcome that you are getting at the end of this chapter. So you can use the DFT as a linear transformation. You can understand the relation between the Z transform and DFT, and then you can understand the property and use this property for problem solution. So these are the outcome that you are getting at the end of this chapter. So now let us, when we are going through a Fourier transform, so let us understand what are the different representation of Fourier for the class of signal. So Fourier representation, Fourier is the scientist who has developed this theory called as a Fourier theory. So in this, this theory is applicable for 4 class of signals, that is periodic signal, non-periodic signal, discrete time periodic signal, continuous time periodic signal. So these are the 4 category of signal where Fourier representation is applicable. So Fourier representation is given for this kind of signal. When the signal is periodic, when signal is non-periodic, or we can say it as aperiodic, then when the signal is discrete time periodic signal, and when the signal is continuous time periodic signal. So here for discrete time aperiodic signal, there is no definition given, or the definition for discrete time aperiodic signal is not present. So we'll have to derive it, and that we will be doing in the next exercise. Okay, so Fourier series, where the Fourier series is applicable when the signal is continuous and periodic. As I have told you that Fourier series is applicable for periodic continuous time signal, where we can apply the Fourier series. So the first Fourier representation called as a Fourier series, it is applicable to the continuous time periodic signal. Then second kind of signal is called as a discrete time Fourier series. So this discrete time Fourier series is applicable for discrete time periodic signal. So the second representation of Fourier series is called as a discrete time Fourier series. It is applicable to a discrete time periodic signal, right? So this is the second representation of Fourier representation. Then third representation is non-periodic signal. So Fourier transform is used for non-periodic signal representation. And then last is called as a continuous time periodic signal. For that is continuous time periodic signal. That is, we have seen in the this is nothing but the periodic signal where this Fourier series is applicable. So here representation is given. When signal is continuous periodic, Fourier series is applicable. When signal is continuous and non-periodic, Fourier transform is applicable, or it is being used. Fourier transform is used when the signal is Fourier transform is used when signal is continuous and aperiodic. At that time, the Fourier transform is used. When we convert the time domain signal into the frequency domain signal, we are getting the kind of spectra. The spectrum analysis or spectra that we are getting when we convert signal from time domain to frequency domain. So when the signal is continuous, when the signal is continuous and periodic, we are applying Fourier series. And when we apply Fourier series, the kind of spectra that we are going to get, and this spectra is discrete and aperiodic, right? This is another important thing. What is the outcome of using this Fourier series? When we apply Fourier series on periodic signal, the outcome or the what exactly we will be getting in the time domain, in the frequency domain, or the which kind of spectra that we are getting in the frequency domain. So that is given here, that when the signal is continuous and periodic, when we apply a Fourier series, the spectra that we are getting in the frequency domain is discrete and aperiodic. The spectra that is going to get in the frequency domain is discrete and aperiodic. Okay, sine wave, you might have studied in the second year. For sine wave, when we apply a Fourier series, we will be getting only one value in the frequency domain. When we apply Fourier series, let us say 50 Hertz sine wave, and amplitude is let us say 2 units of amplitude. When we apply Fourier series upon the sine wave, we will be getting only one spectra or one value as an output, and that will be a value at 50 Hertz frequency, and it's a spectra. Only amplitude we will be getting. Are you remembering this? Let us try to relate whatever you have studied in the earlier class. Okay, so for continuous signal and periodic signal, continuous and periodic signal, when we apply Fourier series, the spectra which we will be getting is discrete and aperiodic. Now, similarly, when the signal is continuous and aperiodic, the Fourier transform is used, and the spectra which we are getting in the frequency domain is continuous and aperiodic. The spectra will be aperiodic and continuous. Then for the discrete signal, we will consider now. When signal is discrete and periodic, when the signal is discrete and discrete and periodic, at that time the discrete time Fourier series can be used. When we apply discrete time Fourier series, the spectra which we will be getting in the frequency domain is discrete and periodic. The spectra which we will be getting in the frequency domain is discrete and periodic. Then the next kind of classification of the signal is discrete and aperiodic. The next kind of classification is discrete and aperiodic. When the signal is discrete and aperiodic, the spectra, the tool which we are applying in order to convert time domain signal into the frequency domain, this tool is called as a discrete time Fourier transform. The tool which we are using called as a discrete time Fourier transform. So this is the discrete time Fourier transform, in which the spectra which we will be getting in the frequency domain is continuous and periodic. The spectra which we will be getting is continuous and aperiodic. Okay, so we'll go through a concept called as a frequency sampling. This concept we'll try to understand. Okay. Frequency domain sampling and reconstruction of the signal, discrete time signal. So I hope you are with me. We have seen a Fourier series and Fourier transform concept. Now we'll be going through a frequency sampling concept. Frequency sampling of signal in the frequency domain. Sampling of the signal in the frequency domain. So here, frequency domain sampling and reconstruction of discrete time signal. These are the two important concepts that we are going to study. Now, the frequency domain sampling, here we will be considering the input signal, which is aperiodic. Let us say for this concept, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to consider a signal which is a aperiodic signal. Let us say I'm going to show you. Let us say this is my signal in the time domain. This is time axis, and this one is the amplitude. So what do you mean by a periodic signal? The signal which is present at a particular period only. So let us say this is the signal from 0 to t. For this particular period, let us say instead of 0, I will be considering here, let's say 1. So 1 to t. So this signal is present for a particular period of time. So you can say it as a periodic signal. This is a periodic signal which is not repeating continuously. So this is called as a periodic signal, right? This is a periodic signal. So which is applicable for particular period of time only. So this is called as a periodic signal. Now, the second class of signal which we have considered is called as a periodic signal. So this is continuously going with a particular pattern. So let's say this is repeated pattern is present here. If this is the repeated pattern is present, in that case, how do we call this signal? This signal is periodic signal, because because it is repeating with a particular pattern. So this is called as a periodic signal. This is a periodic signal and this is called as a periodic signal, right? So in this way, these are the two different types of signal. Now here we wanted to get an things. We wanted to develop the formula when the signal is aperiodic, and we would like to perform the frequency domain sampling. So here we will be now going through a concept called as a frequency sampling. So let us will understand. We will take the example that the signal is aperiodic. If the signal is aperiodic, as I have shown you, signal is aperiodic. So let us consider a signal which is aperiodic. So if the signal is aperiodic, when we apply a Fourier transform, now here we will be applying the Fourier transform. So the Fourier transform, when we apply in the earlier slide only, what I have told you, if the signal is aperiodic, what we are getting when we apply aperiodic, continuous and aperiodic signal. So spectra will be, what will be the spectra? Spectra will be periodic, aperiodic and continuous. The signal, this will be the spectra. Let's say this is the frequency axis and this will be the amplitude. So this is the frequency domain representation and this is the time domain representation. Amplitude A and axis is T. So this will be the time domain representation and this will be the frequency domain representation. So when the signal is aperiodic in the time domain, when we convert this signal into the frequency domain, the spectra which we will be obtaining is continuous and aperiodic. The spectra that is going to we get is aperiodic and continuous. So here okay. So here we will be considering okay. An aperiodic finite energy signal. So this is an aperiodic finite energy. It has energy. So finite energy signal has continuous spectra. So this spectra will be continuous because aperiodic signal, when we apply Fourier transform, we will be getting continuous spectra. For an aperiodic signal x of n, the spectrum representation. The spectrum representation is performed by using Fourier transform. So here this spectra is represented by x of omega. So this is the x of omega signal, which is we have converted from time domain to frequency domain. Omega is nothing but 2 pi f. This signal is related with frequency. So this is called as a spectra. So this spectra we can represent by using Fourier transform. So in the mathematically, how do we represent? That is x of omega is equal to summation, as it varies from minus infinity. It will come from minus infinity and goes to plus infinity. So total range, and this is a continuous. So total range of this signal is given as n varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of n. This will not be x of t. This will be x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. So this will be the spectra of a periodic signal. This is the aperiodic signal. When we convert this into a frequency domain, we will be getting a spectra which is a continuous spectra. So this is going to be represented mathematically here. Here I have shown you graphically. So it is going to be represented mathematically as x of omega, which is equal to summation n varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. So this will be the spectrum representation of the signal. Now suppose we sample x of omega. Now what I want to do, I want to perform a frequency sampling of the signal in the frequency domain. So we are saying that this will be the frequency domain sampling. So suppose we sample x of n periodically in the frequency at a sampling period, at the sampling of delta omega radians between successive samples. Now we'll see, I will show you this x of omega, this signal we would like to sample periodically for a particular period. If I sample this signal periodically, and when we sample the signal, we are getting a consecutive samples one after another. The distance between these two consecutive sample will be equal to delta omega radian. The distance between two consecutive sample will be a delta omega. Now let us say this is my let's say this is my signal. This is my aperiodic signal, which I have converted into a frequency domain. So I'm getting a continuous spectra. Now I want to sample this sequence for a particular period, and this is going to be, we will be sampling this signal periodically after a specific period of time. Let's say I'm sampling this sequence from 0 to 2 pi. So this is my one period. The next sampling will happen, next period of sampling will happen between 2 pi to 4 pi. Okay, the next period of sampling will happen between 2 pi to 4 pi. Means here we are sampling signal periodically. We are sampling signal periodically. And now in this, when I'm sampling this signal, the sampling will be at a, this is nothing but we are sampling the signal. So particular instant we will be taking. Now what will be the distance between this consecutive sample? The distance between this consecutive sample will be delta of omega. The distance between consecutive or successive sample will be equal to delta omega. So this is now we are going to study about. Suppose we sample signal x of omega periodically in the frequency domain at the sampling of delta omega radians between successive samples. We know that discrete time Fourier transform is periodic with time 2 pi. Therefore, only samples in the fundamental range will be necessary. So only as when we sample this signal, we know that discrete time Fourier transform is periodic. This is applicable to periodic signal only. So we will be only considering the sample between a particular period of time. Let's say from 0 to 2 pi. In this period only, we will be considering the samples, because discrete time Fourier transform, this is nothing but what we are doing. Now we are doing a discrete time Fourier transform, and discrete time Fourier transform is applicable for a periodic signal. So here we will be considering only a sample for a specific period only, that is 0 to 2 pi. And then the delta of omega. So here we will be considering n number of samples between period from 0 to 2 pi. So how many samples are there? There are n number of samples, and distance between or the spacing between consecutive sample is represented by delta of omega. So 0 to 2 pi, spacing between these two consecutive sample will be delta of omega. So value of delta of omega, what will be the value of delta of omega? The total period is 2 pi. Number of samples are n. So the distance between consecutive sample will be equal to, it is going to be equal to 2 pi upon n. The distance between consecutive sample will be equal to 2 pi upon n. This will be the distance between two consecutive sample. This is one sample, this is second sample. The distance between these two consecutive sample will be equal to 2 pi upon n. So spacing between sample will be delta of omega is equal to 2 pi upon n. So this is being represented in the figure. So we'll see. So this is the figure which we are going to which we are. So this is a periodic signal. The spectra is continuous. Now for this, we are now sampling the sequence. So we have considered the period from 0 to 2 pi. So here in this period, we have considered the n number of samples. So this will be the n number of samples. Okay. So these are the discrete samples. We have considered the period from 0 to 2 pi. These are the n number of discrete samples. So spacing between consecutive sample will be the spacing between these two consecutive sample. This is a consecutive sample. So spacing between these two consecutive sample will be 2 pi upon n. So this will be the spacing between two consecutive sample. But this is the 0th sample. This is first sample, second, third, fourth, fifth, and this will be the nth sample. So that is being represented by index called as a k. This is the index called as a k. When this k, the range of k will vary from, this is going to vary from 0 to n minus 1. So total number of sample will be represented as n number of samples. Range of k will vary from 0 to n minus 1. So this when k value of k is 0, this is going to indicate that this will be the 0th sample. When k is equal to 1, then it is 2 pi upon n, means it is going to represent as this will be the first sample. Then this will be k equal to 2. This is representing second sample. And when k is equal to n minus 1, then it will be the n minus 1th sample of the sample in the period from 0 to 2 pi. 0 to 2 pi. So this is going to represent, we can represent the sampling of the signal in this way. Now, when the evaluation, this is what we are now representing graphically. So we would like to represent this in the mathematical form because we want to derive the formula for, discrete Fourier transform. So this derivation of the formula that we will see in the next lecture. Okay, this we will see in the next lecture.